For changing bone structure, you should look at changing the soft tissue structure which surrounds and becomes the bone. Your fascial and muscle network is flexible collagen fibers, and your bones are also flexible collagen fibers. They've become mineralized, though, so they're stiffer. The fascia and the bone blend into each other to the point where you could even call the bone as being part of the fascial network. So, to work on the bone structure, work on feeling the forces of fascia going into the bones, and then reorganize the structure from the gentle forces of the soft tissue. Let's have an example of the arm and then the jaws and the palate and the skull. So please try this with me. Pay close attention to the sensations. In order to move your arm, the entire arm or just part of it, you move all of the muscle and the soft tissue that is connected to the bone. Can you feel that you're not pushing the bone? Your bones are floating inside of the soft tissue. And so as you move the soft tissue around, the bone has force transmitted into it and through it. And that becomes the movement. Okay. Actually, the muscles and the movement almost never basically don't happen through pushing. They happen through pulling and a natural flow of movement through the tissue. Now let's do the lower jaw. If you move the lower jaw around gently, can you feel how your lower jaw is floating in the muscles that are attaching underneath it, to the sides of it, and even in the back of the palate, in the back of your mouth? Without these muscles, when you see a jaw bone, it on a skull, it'll simply fall off of the skull because it's floating due to these attachments of all the musculature around the jaw. I'd like you to get a feel for that if you move it around, because this musculature, this fascial network, is what's going to determine your jaw position, and over time, it's going to determine the growth because the forces coming through the soft tissue, through the fascial network, become the collagen network, become the mesh that becomes mineralized and becomes the jawbone. Okay. So now let's do the tongue. If you can move the tongue around gently in your mouth, can you feel the forces being transmitted from the movement of the tongue, especially into the back of the palate, and then into the skull, and into the palate, and into the jaw? So these forces are over time what is going to determine the position of the bones and over time how well they grow. In the same way that you can have constricted and overly tensed muscles, say in the tongue, and essentially if your fascial network is constricted, that'll show up in the fascial network, the collagen network of the bones, and lead to constricted growth. So you have to open up the soft tissue network in order to open up the hard tissue network. They're all one network. Okay. So if you can feel these cues, keep practicing. If you're having trouble feeling them, we have practitioners and courses that have a 100% success rate to get you feeling what I'm talking about so that you can begin self-adjustment of the craniosacral system with whole body breathing.